With the arrival of summer, you can always expect some big transfer. Yes, it's not always about the amount, but some big name will definitely find themselves in a new club. At the moment, the main transfer saga has finally come to its climax. It is, of course, about Florian Wirtz, one of the main revelations in German football over the last couple of years. Liverpool paid as much as 150 million euros for this guy, including all bonuses, making him the most expensive transfer in the club's history. Yes, Wirtz is certainly the best player in the Bundesliga at the moment, but is he worth the money? After all, such staggering amounts paid for a player usually become a burden for them, because behind this sum lie great expectations. But this is a matter for the future. Days. In the meantime, let's get to know him better, learn about his strengths and weaknesses, and what prospects await him in the future. Let's rewind the time back to Fulheim, a tiny town near Cologne, where on the 3rd of May 2003, our future football, Florian Wirtz, is a product of a true football family. His father, Hans Joachim, was a youth coach himself. His sister Juliana also plays ball professionally for Bayer and the national team. Germany. Imagine these family dinners, not TV shows but discussions of tactics and the best moments of the Bundesliga. In such an atmosphere, it was simply impossible not to become a footballer. Barely having learned to walk, Florian was already glued to the ball. His first passes, his first tricks, all took place on the modest fields of Grün-Weiß-Blau-Weiler. And even then it was clear, this guy, special. He stood out not only with his technique, but also with an incredible football intelligence that can't be bought for any money. He was obsessed with the game, the dream of big-time football, of a professional career, of scoring goals and winning matches. It was born in this small town, under the watchful eyes of his family, who believed in him more than anyone else. In 2011, when Florian was only 8, he took his first truly big step by joining the Academy of Cologne, and here his talent began to be honed like a diamond. In Cologne, he rose through all the age categories, always ahead of his peers. His favorite position was, of course, number 10, where you need to create, invent, and orchestrate attacks. He could read the game several moves ahead, making such passes. He was the kind of guy who could single-handedly change the course of any match. And of course, he was breaking records. At his young age, he was already the youngest captain in the history of the Bundesliga under-17. His talent could not go unnoticed. Scouts from all top clubs in Europe were in the stands during his matches. Cologne, naturally, was doing everything possible to keep their wunderkind. But, as often happens in football, a player's heart and ambitions sometimes lead him down a difficult path. In January 2020, to the incredible shock and anger of Cologne fans, Florian Wirtz moved, where do you think? To their arch-rivals, Bayer Leverkusen. It was a scandal. Cologne and Bayer, that's a derby, that's a historical rivalry. To give away their most promising player directly into the hands of the enemy. But for Florian it was a conscious choice, a step towards faster development, to the first team, which, as time showed, became the ideal springboard for his career. For Bayer, it was a chance to replace the recently departed Kai Havertz with a similar type of player. And this step turned out to be simply brilliant. The move to Bayer became the moment when Florian truly began to shine. Soon he found himself in the first team, and on May 18th, 2020, he stepped onto the field in a match against Werder, becoming the youngest debutant in Bayer's history in the Bundesliga. Although this record was later taken by Youssoufa Moukoko, he quickly secured a spot in the starting lineup. His adaptation to adult football was simply incredible. He didn't just play, he dictated the tempo, created moments out of nothing. His vision of the field and speed of decision-making were striking. He was the leader of the team, despite being the youngest on the field. His influence on Bayer was growing exponentially with each game. But soon something terrible happens. In March 2022, the guy suffers a torn cruciate ligament, the most frightening and recently quite common injury for a footballer. A difficult recovery and possible knee weakness can reduce his potential by half. We know examples like Nicolo Zaniolo, who completely faded away after two similar injuries, even though he was once considered prodigy. Therefore, one question remained. Would he be able to return to his former level? But Florian showed character. He not only recovered, he returned 10 months later, even hungrier, stronger, and more motivated. And so the 23-24 season begins. A season that will forever go down in the history of Bayer and the Bundesliga. Under the leadership of Xabi Alonso, Bayer went through the entire Bundesliga without a single defeat, won the championship and the cup. Germany reached the final of the Europa League. And who was the main driving force behind this incredible journey? Florian Wirtz. His statistics were insane, but numbers are nothing compared to the impact he had on the game. He was the brain of this team. His goals and assists were not just numbers. They were decisive moments that brought victories. The guy is recognized as the best player of the Bundesliga that season. One thing remained clear. Flo definitely wouldn't stay at Bayer, especially after Alonso's departure. And now we come to the most interesting part. Florian Wirtz moves to the English champions. But will he suit Arne Slot? Of course, Liverpool is intense attacking football, pressing, speed, creativity. Wirtz's main striking force is his vision of the field, his killer passes, his dribbling, his ability to play between under the leadership of Arne Slot, who loves technical and smart players. Florian can develop even more. Besides, the club will benefit from his versatility. He can play as a number 10, a winger, even a false 9. He could become that player who breathes new life into Liverpool's midfield, becoming a new face, a new superstar. For Florian, this will be the next completely logical step. The opportunity to play at the highest level, to compete with the best of the best. Of course, moving to such a club is enormous pressure, but Florian has already proven that he can handle this pressure and deliver his best football when it's most needed. Choosing Liverpool is much more logical than choosing Real, where he was also rumored to transfer. In the capital of Spain, he would face much more serious competition. Real's midfield is already overloaded without him. Meanwhile, at Liverpool, it will be much easier to compete with Szoboszlai, Núñez or Luis Diaz. But what, in the end, makes Florian Wirtz so incredible? Let's break down his style and strengths. He is a number 10 of the new generation, the very artist on the field who constantly moves, looks for open spaces, shifts to the flanks to create chaos in the opponent's defense. His vision of the field and passing is simply fantastic. He sees the field perfectly, makes one-touch passes, and his dribbling is not just for show. This skill is developed at the highest level. He bypasses opponents whether in high-speed situations or tight spaces. And most importantly, he not only creates, but also finishes. Composure in the box, the ability to score with both feet. Besides that, the guy is incredibly hard-working, which is not really that rare for a German player. So if he continues in the same spirit and injuries bypass him, then we will see a true football genius. He will become one of the best attacking midfielders of the world, if he hasn't already become one. He will score and assist with alarming regularity, becoming a key player for Liverpool and, of course, for the German national team for many years. Possibly in the future, he will compete for the most prestigious individual awards, including the Ballon d'Or. Florian Wirtz is not just a talent, of which there are many. He is a player with special vision, incredible technique, a winner's character, and potential that seems limitless. His journey from a young wunderkind from Cologne through triumph at Bayer, and possibly to legendary status. Liverpool is an inspiring story of perseverance, passion, and pure football genius. He is already making history, and we are only beginning to realize what he is capable of.